In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on, bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie, the awesome podcast where I have my friends come on and defend movies that they love that nobody else does. Before we start today, I just want to do a quick thing because Alex asked me to make an announcement. If you go on iTunes right now, you can check out the Showbiz Studios podcast studio page on iTunes. Finally, Showbiz Studios has their own section on iTunes. You can check out all the awesome podcasts from Showbiz Studios, like this one, and also Matt Goldich's podcast. I'm sorry, what's it called? David Feldman Show, Fat Pig with Jessica Curson and Frank Liotti. So go on iTunes, check that out. They also have a YouTube page as well. So let's get the episode started. I am joined once again by my awesome co-host, Farrah Brooke. How are you, Farrah?
Doing well, Sean. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And our guest this week, super funny dude. You've seen him on Adam Devine, also on the HBO show Insecure. Great, great guy. I love this guy. Langston Kerman, everybody. Yeah. We're so excited to have you,
the
man.
Live studio audience is reeling with excitement.
First, we have to.
Their seats.
We gotta talk. Can we talk about what we talked about earlier before we get to the movie? Can we talk about Farrah's whole hair situation that she had?
I'm being bullied.
No,
this
you're
is
not
the
being-
last thing.
It looks nice now.
Thank
It looks
you,
really nice
Langston.
now, and I'm not trying to be a
Under
bully.
this hat.
You told me you were going to come in with a hat to the taping.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know she warned you ahead of time.
I also sent you a text that was meant for my friend.
Oh, that's right.
I never would have even told you about this debacle. I sent him like a paragraph that was meant to be sent to Marsha Belsky, and I was like, oops, that wasn't for you.
But it's really, really funny because, all right, here's the thing. It's like, I have no hair, so, you have the last
It
laugh.
looks like
if I
you
make
got a
fun of your hair.
haircut, though.
I did. I got
Yeah.
my hair shaved yesterday.
Well, it
Yeah,
looks nice.
That's what
Good
I do.
for you.
And just at this point, I'm almost
was that,
40,
20
Farrah,
bucks?
okay? What?
$20?
No, $20 for the beard and the hair. Because the guy next to me, this guy Alex, who is from, I think he's from Moldova. He's from like some kind of like former Russian USSR country, and he's like super serious. But he'll like joke around, but in a super serious way. So he'll just be like, he'll shave my head, like he'll shave the head, and he'll go, "You ready now? Professional actor." And I'm like,
shit.
is he kidding? And then he's like, he's like, Viking, you be Viking now. And I'm like, yeah, I could be a Viking. I'm like, Game of Thrones. He's like, professional.
Does anyone ever leave a hair place not thinking that they're all laughing as they walk out the door? Like,
I know, exactly.
I just like that that's his go-to bit. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
professional.
Professional.
Tennis player. It's like, what does that mean, man?
Yeah.
Did you
Why-
tell him
why are
you were,
roasting
like, an
me at the
actor?
barbershop? What?
did you tell him you were an actor? Or?
Oh, he knows I'm a comic because we've gotten into it long enough where he always wonders, he sees me all day. This guy literally, his barbershop is 2 doors down from my building.
Oh, shit.
So I walk by and either he's out giving a haircut or he's behind these like, when women in their bedroom, they have like those things they dress behind? He has
Yeah.
those in the back of his shop and he like eats back there and like plays guitar and stuff.
Does he live
foldy
there?
thing.
The folding things, yeah.
My
And-
mom has one of those
It's
on
for-
our living room, and it's the most bizarre thing. And
That's
I ask
weird.
her all the time, please remove this. And even I'll move it and put it in the bathtub, and she gets so mad. It's like, to me, those are the things where it's like
Yeah.
a sex shop
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like a massage
Yeah.
parlor.
It's very erotic.
Or like
Yeah,
a
and
video
they
store
put
from the
it up.
90s that had a porno section and you put it behind those.
She got it during Hurricane Sandy because my grandma and her aide were staying with them, so she got it to like give them like their own space in the living
Oh.
room. But now
Like a
she
Civil
just
War
keeps-
hospital.
Yeah, now she just keeps it there.
Your grandma's there with gangrene on one side.
Don't look at me.
Look at me.
Put the divider up.
I need my own space.
Yeah, and now she just keeps it open there. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, please, like,
Well, I
please
feel
remove
like
this.
if
She's
you
like, I
have-
need my privacy.
If you have one of those in your bedroom immediately becomes a boudoir. I feel like that has that. I feel like it becomes a way sexier bedroom.
Yeah,
if you have like
it's very erotic.
that's like
That's-
every movie where somebody's like, let me go slip into something more comfortable. They go behind one of those things.
And there's like way
Right.
too much light behind it, and
Yeah.
you see some tit.
Yes.
Not enough tit.
Not
that you
enough
can,
tit. Yeah.
You,
You
can
can see
call
the
it an
shadow.
evening. Yeah, you just a little tit to entice.
Yeah, just to tease a little bit, just to get you get you going.
Right.
So anyway, so that was my barbershop. My thing is, it's literally just maintenance. I go, he shaves my head, he keeps my beard the way I want it, and I leave. Now you have more options here, and you went to. Is this your normal person you went to?
This is my normal person, but this is person 2. Because I had a person 1. I was with her for many years. She never got it right, but I would always go back. It very much reflects relationship patterns in real life.
You gotta want better for yourself.
Yeah.
This is huge.
But you get a connection with these people, especially for
Yeah.
women. You're there for a little while. They know your whole life. They know the story.
Well, yeah, it becomes a relationship
Right,
after a
so,
while. yeah.
like, you don't-
that's one of the most important relationships you have with like a quasi stranger. Because think about it, when you
and
go,
they know everything.
I can't go anywhere else to get my haircut now because I'm afraid I'll walk by and he'll see me with my head shaved.
Exactly. So it was a very big deal for me to eventually leave this woman who always got it wrong and then made me feel very uncomfortable for saying that she did. So it was a big move to finally get to this new girl who I started with around January or something to fix what the other one had done. I was like, I'm
This
not
was-
going back. It's time to make a change.
Yeah.
And then she did well for a while, but this weekend we really got into
problem.
a rough spot.
Well, we'll tell it real fast. She screwed up the color. You didn't like
Yeah.
the color yet. But the reason I want to bring it up, it's so funny what you
I'm
said when you
glad
came
you
in.
think this is
Well,
hilarious,
it's fixed.
Sean.
You're beautiful. It's fixed. It looks great. Like I wouldn't be doing this if I really thought it was a
Yeah, you're
a
not
major
ghoulish
issue
anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You're not a
much.
monster
Thank you.
anymore. No, you look
The
fantastic.
crazy thing is, this is what we started with, which I didn't want.
Right.
So then we went to the other situation that you find so amusing.
Well, because of what you said. Basically, Mary, I almost called you Marielle. That's crazy. Farrah showed me a picture. That's my wife's name. Farrah showed me a picture of the color that they gave her that she didn't like, and it was like kind of like a copperish reddish.
It was many
like
I'll
many
call
different
it colors.
Yeah, but the funniest part, and it doesn't look. It looks, also the picture looks bad because you're purposely making a face in it and all that kind of stuff. But the funniest part about it is you said you looked like the Aurora shooter. Whatever that guy's name. The guy. Now, granted, it's sad. That guy's a piece of shit. But then when you see the picture of the Aurora shooter, it pretty much is the same color as his hair.
It's a very close color to that
Yes.
guy.
So that's why I wanted you to bring it up.
Who was not a healthy man.
And you know what? I think more people would understand.
Wasn't what I was going for.
More people would understand him shooting those people if it was about his hair color.
He just dealt with the wrong lady. This was lady 2 for him, and
He was
he
fed
had
up with his
enough.
hairdresser.
Honestly, if you see anybody around town with like any type of shade of whack red hair, like they're going through it.
Yeah.
That
That should have been a sign to the people around him to start.
I used to have my friend John used to literally. I think he ruined his hair because he used to strip it. He used to strip the hair and then dye it with Manic Panic back in like when I was a kid in like the 90s. I'm so old.
Well,
It's
this
crazy.
is what I'm sad about because we started where it is now. Then I had a full head of bleach for no reason to
Oh,
get to
shit.
that. Now we're back here, and it's like so I did a lot of damage.
Right. But why don't you just
Look, if anyone's listening, please Venmo me $5. I'm gonna try to find a new hair person, and we'll post the picture.
we'll post
side by
if
side.
Farrah lets us, we'll post the picture of her next to the Aurora shooter.
We're gonna get some complaint emails about this.
About what? Making fun of the Aurora shooting? No, it was an awful
It's the hair.
thing.
It's
but
the hair we're focused
You
on.
do. It looks like you're going cosplay as the Aurora. Just if you went to Comic-Con as the Aurora shooter.
Just just terrorist kind.
Well, I thought part was funny, but it's awful what that guy did. And he's a piece of shit. And don't think that we're supporting him by making fun of Farrah's hair. Okay, but let me also
Big fan.
Also, let me big fan of the Aurora.
Imagine
shooter.
you go into a salon, you're like, this is what I'm going for.
You give his pictures up on the wall.
Yeah.
Like one of those. It's all these like gorgeous models than just the Aurora shooter.
How do you keep up with your hair, Langston? What's the deal here?
I just go to a Dominican dude every like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak English and doesn't really talk to me, and it's great.
sounds
I say like
delightful.
number 4 with a fade, and he's like, okay,
Yep,
cool.
there we go.
There it is.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's like the language
Oh,
of
to
love.
be a man.
There's no speaking. What?
No, but I don't know. It's hard because like I went through a lot of shitty barbers that like push your hairline back or like do what you didn't ask for. So it's not without its
and it's a sensitive
flaws.
thing because it's like your face. It's
Right.
like around your face. It's just
No,
it's not
it's very
something-
sensitive, and you have to look at it, and just the slightest
Yeah.
little change bugs you.
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly.
Did you
Yeah.
ever have? I never.
But at least you guys aren't
I
walking
never-
out like $250 deep.
No,
No, it's 20,
15 to 20 at a
15 to
time.
20, yeah. Then when you were younger, did you have? I don't know how old you are now, but did you have longer hair or no?
Yeah, I went through a phase, and when it was popular, I had like a B2K-esque like braids. I had like shoulder length braids.
Oh,
and
we
shit
gotta get a
for-
picture.
Did you
of
really?
Langston.
Yeah, I had like fucking like cornrow. I would get them braided like every 2 weeks or whatever.
That's awesome.
I went to prom that way.
No
Twice.
way.
Two different proms with my
With
hair
braids?
braided and shit. Thought
How
I
many
was a
times
fucking
did you go
man.
to prom, Sean?
I went
You're
to
a
prom.
two-promer?
Well, no, you
Yeah.
went what? Junior and senior prom?
Yeah, junior, senior.
I think I went junior and senior prom.
Oh, yeah. I went 3 times, all to senior prom.
Oh, going with the
fuck.
seniors.
There was no junior prom. in
Well,
my
we
school.
didn't have a junior, but juniors were allowed to go.
Yeah.
With a
So,
senior?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
I think
about.
I went with somebody when I was a junior, and I think I went to my senior prom. I'm pretty sure. And then we had like spring fling, and winter wonderland. We had
Oh,
these like
shit.
we had these themed dances twice a year on
Yeah.
top of the proms. But well, that's enough about hair and prom. Let's get into the movie. The movie this week. It's a biggie. It's a tough one to defend, and I'm asking. I told Langston we've gotten some criticism from people not defending the movie. So I said, if you can, please defend it, because we've had episodes before where we start shitting on it, and that becomes way too fun. So he's going to defend this one.
I am.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
Now, if
All
you're
I
thinking,
could gather from the trailer is that they have this canister of jizz and they're trying to protect it. That's all I could.
Jizz is not the wrong way to describe
Like
it.
that's all I could take. And to be clear, I have not seen this movie.
Farrah has not seen it like usual, which is the way we like it on the show.
It's
And
radiated jizz to a certain
it's
extent.
radiated jizz. That's radioactive jizz.
That's sort of
There's
what it is.
really no other way to put this. Right away, the title, it's like Secret of the Ooze. What were they thinking naming it this? Well, they're like, yeah, this will get the kids.
They were like, no, this needs to be longer.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
Turtles 2 is not long enough.
That's not enough.
We need some more.
Can we put 3 sentences on the end of that, please? So, literally, if you're thinking it's one of the 2 that just came out, the sequel that just came out, it's not. That one's called, like, Out of the Shadows or something like that.
Yeah, and those are like, I think those are actually just like turtles or something. Like, I think they have like less of like the full title.
It's like Ninja Turtles
Or it's
2,
like-
or
yeah,
it's like
something like
something like
that.
that. Yeah, but here's the thing: it's like I didn't see either of those other ones.
I did.
Did you see the new ones?
Yes.
Oh, and are they? Is it like going on rules of how action movies are now, where they're all about? I bet you the fight scenes in those are actual real fight scenes.
Well, here's the thing. The original Ninja Turtles movies had real fucking actors who were like dressed up in giant turtle
Yes,
costumes.
and this is
fighting.
CGI,
This
right?
is all CGI. So it's like, cool. Like you guys made a really high action animated movie with Megan Fox in there, but like, no.
It's not
thing.
like the same
Yeah,
thing.
in the
Yeah.
trailer, it looked like the guys who dress up in Times Square got
Yeah.
together
Yes.
and made a movie.
Well,
exactly what it is.
time hasn't been kind to any films.
Yeah.
In particular, some of the
I
classics.
felt
really
like they
true.
just picked up these guys in Times Square and were like, yeah.
They're like, hey, you guys
I
want to be movie stars? And they're like, of course.
In 1991, it blew my mind. You know
Right.
what I mean? I couldn't believe the level of like just accuracy they had in giant turtle people.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was almost like a Barney costume.
Yeah.
right?
It totally is.
Full
And also,
overhead.
the way they fight in Secret of the Ooze is like how I would karate fight when I was 12. Like, it's literally like, there's no like actual authenticity.
There's a
Like,
lot
you
of
could've-
spins.
There's a lot of spins. There's a lot of hi-ya,
Yeah.
ho-ha, he-ho, he-sa. Like, I'm like, that's not actually
All
how
right,
people
you have
fight.
my
Well, that's
attention.
so that's the biggest critique I think a lot of people threw at the film was that they took what was the original film, the Ninja Turtles, the first one, really focused on like the darkness and edginess of the Ninja Turtles
Yes.
in the comic books.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, and it's like cool, like exciting, and like they're actually
And it was a
stabbing
really
people
cool
with knives.
graphic
and, like,
novel. And
yeah,
then,
exactly.
Yeah, the
and
whole
then,
concept of it. I remember being into it as a kid.
Right. And so they realized the success of the cartoon and all the things that they were selling. They were like, well, let's just make it fun. Let's make it for kids for real. So they had like much more hi-yas and like flips. And they literally, at one point in the film, Vanilla Ice shows up and
Yes,
sings a
of
song.
course.
He like
Of course.
freestyles about Ninja Turtles. It's like a
love the
wild
90s,
level
though.
of like.
Yeah, he just has a turtle song ready to go, and it's at the
Three
very
verses.
It's at the very end of the movie.
It's
full
3
disclosure.
verses of
It's-
turtle
yeah,
songs.
he has-
Oh my god!
It's go ninja, go.
This is
go.
in the Secret of the Jizz.
Secret of the
Secret
Jizz.
of the Jizz,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah, I'm
What is
intrigued.
the secret of the jizz? Is you're pregnant. That's the secret of the jizz. That's what happens.
And it's not a turtle.
I wrote down some stuff from this movie. I kind of want to have you explain the plot of
So
Secret
you
of the Jizz.
genuinely enjoyed this.
I genuinely enjoyed this film. This film meant the world to me when it came out.
When it came out, yeah.
And
And-
even now, I went back and watched it literally 6 months ago, and I recognized every problem that the critics threw out, and I was still like, "Fuck y'all, this is a classic. I'll never apologize."
I'll tell you this much. Like, I think you could defend it. Like, them joking while fighting is kind of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, one of the things I'll give you this as part of your defense,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
probably
how
shouldn't
kind
happen.
of you.
But here's the thing: like, at least when you have these '90s movies and we do them on the podcast, like. It was like the 90s were a happier time. Like
Yes,
it really was
definitely.
happier. The way that things are now, and everybody's about realism and like, hey, how dark can this get? And even though the first Ninja Turtles was a little bit darker, it wasn't dark like how things are now.
No.
You have the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah, it wasn't Batman.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but the way you had it back then, it was like what was fun to watch was like, hey, even when they were fighting, they weren't upset. Like there was no dire straits in this movie. The whole time, even when they were being tied up, they're like, well, this sucks.
The way,
like, you know.
this will give you a good sense of how silly the film is. The way that they take down the 2 big monsters that get introduced in this film is by feeding them donuts that have sedatives in them.
No, not sedatives. They have.
It's sedatives it's the ooze that they've turned into a pill, basically.
It's
and they
ooze.
put it in a donut.
Well, they're radioactive. The two. All right, let's explain what it is. So basically, you want to try to explain the plot?
So in Ninja Turtles, they're Ninja Turtles. They start
Yeah.
off as tiny turtles. They eat radiated ooze, discover and turn into these bigger turtle creature human-like things, and then a rat named Splinter raises them to become ninjas and secret
Right.
warriors, and they take down this dude Shredder. That's the first movie, basically. And now in the second film, Shredder has returned. Oh shit. And he is mad about that first incident that took place, and he decides that he needs to be able to radiate himself and his crew to be able to take down the turtles who defeated him.
Yeah, and they find out
They're gonna get bigger?
The origin of the ooze. They find it. There's a site that this what would you call it? Like this not manufacturing company, but like this chemical company
Yeah.
is doing this. Like they're building something, and then they find out that's the source of the ooze. TGRI is the name of the company,
Right?
And they're responsible for making the turtles. And now. There's this last can. They got rid of everything because they found out. Because April O'Neil is a reporter, and she was like going after them, like
This is back
investigative.
when reporting worked. This is back when news wasn't fake like it is today. You piece of shit journalist.
This is the original. This is before pre-fake news. So she's going after the story. So the company
God.
gets rid of almost all the canisters of ooze except for one, and that's the sought after object of the movie. So the Foot Clan, who is Shredder's crew, they want to get it so they can defeat the Turtles and then get revenge on them for what they did to Shredder. Right?
Exactly.
So basically, the Turtles just keep trying to get this ooze. Shredder, what he does is he radioactivates. He
That's the right
nukes,
word.
yeah, he nukes
Sure.
a wolf and this like snapping turtle and turns them into like these radioactive like crazy animals. Like,
And they
you know,
become Toka and Razor.
Toka and Razor.
And
So
are they like the size of the turtles?
They're twice
bigger.
as big.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're mean and scary, but also like mildly. I don't want to say they are special needs for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, they're infants. Well, there's a whole.
They're
That is not the turn I saw this taking.
they're like real dumb.
Well, they're just, like, they're infants is what they
presented
say,
as.
but like they're
Special
just.
needs.
But they really are giant special needs.
Yes,
like
they're not that bright.
not very bright.
Wow.
Which is why the donut trick works, where they like literally they're kicking everybody's ass. No one knows what to do, and then they put the ooze sedative.
They
in
make
the
a
donut.
they make a reverse ooze that will bring them back
Yeah.
to their original state.
Okay.
And then they put it in donuts and they go, yeah, here's donuts, and they're like,
nom nom nom.
This
And then-
movie
yeah,
is
yeah.
way more multifaceted than
Yeah.
I had
Oh,
imagined.
it's complex.
Yeah.
It's got layers. sister.
Yeah. Oh, it's deep.
yeah,
There's
wow.
a love story in there. It's beautiful.
There's a love story.
Yeah. Well,
Less so in the second one, I guess.
The second
It's
one,
much
not as
more in
much.
the first one. The original love story was April O'Neil, who is the journalist that takes down the Ooze company, is sort of like balancing this relationship with this dude, Casey Jones, who's like this bad boy who wears a hockey mask and hits people with a hockey stick, who joins up with the Turtles. And then in the second one, he sort of isn't really around.
Yeah, he's
And
not
it's
in it at all.
More
Doesn't-
about
Doesn't
like
she fall in love with a turtle?
well, the Turtles
one
all
of them
love
likes her. They all love her.
Oh,
They
okay.
all love her, and then one of them in particular is like really trying to fuck.
She's like Snow White. She's like Snow White. Like,
But if Sleepy was really trying to fuck, you know what I mean? Like if Sleepy was really trying to get in that
Mother
ass.
is intently trying to fire. and she's not that far off from doing it either.
No, she's like
wow.
kind of into it.
yeah.
like, well, it's a
but
big
they're also,
turtle.
but the weirdest thing is it opens up, the way the movie opens up, I've jotted down some stuff. It's because the Turtles are so into pizza. They love pizza. That's their thing. It's like
Right,
Garfield
right.
with
I remember
lasagna.
that,
They
yeah.
love pizza, right?
Yeah, I
And-
remember this from the turtle trope.
but with no real reason why. The movie opens up with just shots. It's like that quintessential New York opening where you have, it's shots of New York and people are like, forget about it, keep going, here we go. It's like that kind of thing. But everybody's eating pizza. Like they show so much pizza,
Yeah.
but they never tell you why. I thought it was going to be, because I forgot what happens in the very first scene. So they're showing people eat pizza, eat pizza, eat pizza, eat pizza. Like constantly, they're showing cheese come off their chins. All this crazy shots
have
of
my
pizza
attention.
eating. Yeah, right. Pizza's great. I thought they were going to show like them come out of the sewer and be like, "Did somebody say pizza?" Or like, and that was how they were introduced in the movie. And they just go.
I like that you wanted this film to be lighter than it is. Did someone say pizza?
Well, it's pretty light overall. But then all they do is just show the pizza and then they focus on a pizza delivery kid who's part of the movie. This
So
kid
this
that
is just all the regular
also
people
a
eating
trained-
the pizza,
Just
not
people on the
turtles?
street.
But he's also a trained martial artist, that pizza delivery kid.
Yeah,
he's no
he's their
schlub.
friend.
I mean,
He
they
kicks
usually
ass.
are.
Well, one of the funniest things that happens in the movie, it's early on, the kid. He's going to make a delivery and he notices there's guys robbing a store.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, you don't even know this kid at all. Like he wasn't in the first one at all,
No,
right?
no.
So you don't even know him. He's a pizza delivery guy. He's a little tiny kid. He goes into the store and he goes, "Hey, you're under arrest." Like to these guys, it was him against like 5 guys that
Yeah.
you see doing something. He's like, "Hey, you're under arrest," and they're like, "Huh?" And they're like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm a pizza delivery kid." But then you see he's amazing at martial arts,
And he's
so he
kicking
starts
ass.
kicking him. And then what happens is 40 more show up. And also, let's call bullshit on that, because what movie robbery crew brings 50 people to rob
Okay.
a store?
See, that's where I disagree. Here
Okay.
I am defending my film.
Here we go. Go ahead.
The foot moves as a unit. Always.
Oh, was that the Foot Clan?
That was the Foot Clan.
Oh, I didn't realize
so
that.
he's calling them out, thinking these are just regular robbers. He can handle that. He's a trained martial artist.
All
He's
right.
fine with that. But now he's fucked with the Foot.
Yeah.
And the Foot isn't having it, so they send in more people, which is why the Turtles show up and back him up, and that's where they build their sort of,
that's where they meet
unit.
up, basically.
Yeah.
And the Turtles show up and they start fighting, and then the Turtles tell him to go call the cops. And one of the funniest things that happens is he calls the cops and he goes, "Hurry! There's a lot of them. Hurry! There's a lot, whatever." And then he goes, "Okay, bye." And then he hangs up the phone. He says, "Okay,
Why do
bye."
the turtles need the cops? I thought the turtles
Well,
can
because they take care of it and they tie them up, and then the cops come and arrest them.
They're vigilantes
okay.
to a certain extent.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not
So
technically
they,
supposed to be doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
It'd be a little weird if they showed up to the station. People don't know they exist still, so
Right, right.
it's a very sensitive thing for them, and they're not supposed to exist. Master Splinter is very clear about that. They are not supposed to ever leave the shadows of
So
the
do they
sewers.
try to kind of keep a low profile?
Exactly.
No, they
Well, some
do,
of them
but
do.
not really. You know?
Leonardo, their leader, is very adamant about them, sort of doing what Master Splinter says. And then Michelangelo and Raphael, for different reasons, tend to break those rules.
Yeah, they're the bad boys.
Yeah. Michelangelo's like silly. And he'll go. He literally will pop out of a sewer and be like, "Did someone say pizza?" That's like his thing. But Raphael's like a bad boy asshole who does what he wants.
But there's so many weird things in this movie, like script wise, like that. Who even in a movie or in real life says "K bye" to the cops when you're frenzied and your friends are getting almost beaten up by the Foot Clan? You're not like, "Okay, bye." Like,
miss you.
miss you. All right, peace out.
TYL.
Also, there's a weird part right after that. They show April O'Neil showing back up to her house in her apartment,
Look up
and she
April
walks in and she's got that quintessential '90s grocery bag where there's a baguette sticking out of the grocery bag.
That's true.
I don't know anybody. I've never bought a baguette.
How are you cooking, Sean? If you're not cooking with a baguette, how are you cooking?
Yeah, they always buy a baguette. There's always a French baguette, and that might even be. Is that a Louis C.K. joke where he talks about baguette? I think. Oh, he talks about bag of dicks. That's what he talks about. But I'm like, it's true though. Every grocery bag for every '90s
so
movie
funny. I
has
never
like
thought about
a
that.
little bit of lettuce coming out, like
Yeah.
like arugula or something, and then a baguette right out of the top.
They literally have no plastic bags. It's just whatever you wanted, you picked up with your hand and you put it in here.
In the paper bag.
And you put the vegetables on top for some reason
Yeah,
with a
with the baguette.
piece of bread just hanging out.
It's so crazy. So that's basically what it's about. So basically, the whole point of the movie is them trying. I think not them trying to get. It was at first trying to get the ooze, and then it
Yeah.
turned into them trying to defeat Raza and what's the,
Toka and Razor.
or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And the whole time, Shredder. And it's weird. Like that's the thing. Like it's one of those movies again. Like we did Demolition Man, and I never saw it before I
that's
saw
a
it for the
good one.
podcast. It's a
Yeah.
good one. But it's one of these movies that and I didn't think that this is like a kid's movie, so I assumed this would be like this.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where you're an action movie, but you're also trying to be a comedy. Like Demolition Man
Right.
is
Is this a comedy?
yeah, like
it is in the sense that it like the original wasn't, and now this is their comedic interpretation of the original film.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? And that's part of the reason I fuck with it so hard. It's like you guys figured out that kids like this shit, and you're just leaning into it. And it's like at me at whatever I was like 8,
Right.
I was
why
like, fuck
not?
yeah, this is great. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you're into
this
it.
is a beautiful film.
well, that might have been you could almost say that's the beginning of when people started to call bullshit if it wasn't exactly like the comic books. Because then that's what spurned, for some reason, at some point in like the 2000s, these movies stopped being for kids and they were for whatever, like my generation, kind of, in your generation, like, well, we're the same, well, technically the same generation, but I mean, like, they stopped being for kids and they started being like, well, how authentic can you make
Right,
this?
yeah.
And that's why you get like the adult Batmans. Like, think about the first Batman with Jack Nicholson. Like, yeah, it was dark-ish, but it was super campy, and it was like you could say it was for kids technically.
Look at the fucking Adam West Batman.
Right,
like, that was
exactly.
the silliest man Batman could ever be. And
Yeah.
his parents were supposed to be dead. He was supposed to be like avenging, but he was
So
just
is
like
this
riding
straight
surfboards.
for
and-
kids?
Yeah,
this
exactly.
movie?
I mean, I think
That's true.
it was sort of like how Shrek is for kids. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, technically this is for kids, but there was adult humor. There was like sort of like
there's literally
like darker moments.
A Joan Rivers reference. There's a Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
At one point,
Really?
at one point, Michelangelo is surrounded by the Foot Clan, and he goes, and this is such an old reference too. He goes, "Can we talk?" Because that's what Joan Rivers would say, and they just pounds on top of him. Like, what 8-year-old Langston Kerman in the middle of Chicago is gonna get? He's not sitting there like, I get that. That's a Joan Rivers reference.
Good for you all. This is solid writing. She's a treasure.
Yeah. What's next? A Milton Berle throwback? But like literally, that's what it is. Like they'll have the adult humor in the middle of it. Also, there's a weird moment I noticed, and also I hate jokes where like, I don't know, when there's a weird joke. I don't think it's a joke, but the way the acting is so bad that there's a point where at one
Defend
point,
it, Langston.
At one point they
Shut
go,
him down.
At one point they go, Splinter's on the roof like meditating, and then April O'Neil goes. So they go. Splinter's on the roof, and she goes, doing what? And then for some reason, the way they spaced it out of nowhere, Splinter appears behind them and goes, coming to a decision.
What?
He takes like a 15-minute break before he says to a decision. It sounds like he just said, "What were you doing on the roof?" I was coming on the roof. Like and I hate to go lowest common denominator here, but he literally takes a 20-second break between coming and to a decision.
Here's what I'll say.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. It's when they first show up to her apartment.
Yes.
And they're like all like chilling in there and they're wondering where Splinter is. And then he just magically shows up.
He shows up.
Here's what I'll say. It's very hard.
And he shows up with, there's no space. Like, oh, hey, Splinter. And he's like, I was coming to a decision. He
It's
shows
very
up and he
hard.
goes, coming.
It's very hard to emote in a turtle costume.
Agreed. I'm on
And a
Langston's
rat
side with
costume
this.
probably is even harder. Your face is further from the mouthpiece. I just think he was saying it as best he could in that situation. I'm not mad at him.
It was just so strange.
It's just so hard to get it out.
I'm watching it like, is this on purpose? Is this like a weird? Is this like when Aladdin had sex in the clouds or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Like this is their throw to like that. You know, like they throw these, or like wearing Little Mermaid on the box. You know about that, right? It has a penis on the box of Little Mermaid.
I don't.
Did you know
I
that?
don't know.
On the
Oh, you guys never heard about that?
Well, I
No.
know about in Little Mermaid when they're at the wedding ceremony and it's like the guy marrying them is like jerking off.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
they have that, and then they
a lot
also
of
have
secret Disney
On
hidden messages.
the Little Mermaid, like VHS box and DVD box, whatever. There's a castle, and there's a very distinct part of the castle that's like one of the, you know, I don't know what you would call it. You know, the flying buttresses of the. I don't know. I'm trying to think of things I learned
The
in
tower
school.
things.
The tower
Yeah.
things, but it's circular and it's a penis. It's definitely a penis. It's literally look up. Oh, you know, we can look it up now. Look up the box for Little Mermaid.
Little
and it'll show
Mermaid
you.
penis, I bet is.
Yeah, I think
But there's
Little Mermaid
all-
penis would get us there sooner.
There's all these weird. That's a weird. When he says, it's not even a matter of acting. Like he could have said, "Coming to a decision faster." He could have been like, "Hey guys, I was just thinking. I was thinking of that." But he,
Hey,
he
you know,
really
you know,
shows.
Splinter's always like, "Hey, fellas,
Hey fellas,
I have something on my mind. Just want to run past you real
he
quick."
shows up and he goes, "Coming."
Oh, that is a penis.
It's a penis.
Yeah, that's a
Did they
penis.
circle it and show you?
Well,
Oh, they just zoomed in. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got the head on it and everything.
and how could you miss that? It's solid gold, just like all penises.
I don't disagree.
But there's weird dialogue things like that. There's another one where the Foot Clan, they capture one of the scientists, right?
Yeah.
To help them radioactivate the because
they're trying to make more of it.
They're trying to make more
Yeah.
of the ooze or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So literally. There's a part right when the Foot Clan meets up with him, and they're like, "You have to do this," and he kind of bucks, and he goes, you know, he's like, "No, I can't do that. That will bring danger to the city," or whatever he says.
Right.
And then they like look at him like they're gonna kick his ass, and he goes, "Well, that's enough for me." He goes like, "That's enough talking for me." That's what he said. I was like, I've heard like
He was trying to get out of it. The best way to get out of it, listen, I spent my whole life getting out of fights by being the funny one. I think he was just trying to be the funny one to get out of a fight.
I guess it was pretty funny, but it's so fun. Normally, it's the toughs in the thing being like, "That's enough out of you, pal." But he was like, "That's enough talking for me," and they just stopped.
Bye, boys.
There's just all this weird, and there's like such bad. Oh my god, April O'Neil, that woman who plays April, could be one of the worst
she wasn't
actresses.
great.
And she's been in other
Langston.
stuff.
I'll defend the movie all day, but she wasn't great. There were moments where it's like, okay, this is hard to make
I just want to
sense
see
of.
her have a relationship with the turtle.
That's all I wanted too.
Seems a little like a tease.
You just want to see hot April on turtle sex?
I didn't say sex, Sean.
Oh.
Jesus.
Oh,
but-
you want just a relationship?
Just
yeah, a
cuddle?
love
You
story.
want-
I love a love story.
You want the Notebook, but with April and the turtle.
Where she just keeps forgetting that she married a turtle. She just has to wake up and see
Every
this
time
monster.
she wakes up from her, he like walks up to her and she's like, "No," and he's like, "Wait,
Wait,
I have a story to tell you."
we're in love.
What are you doing? Coming.
Flashback.
To my senses.
And this is all very funny because I actually acquired a turtle myself this past week.
Did you?
I did.
No, you did not.
You didn't see my post about my turtle?
Wait.
It's
That's
not a
not a real turtle.
But it's still a very
Oh,
big
I thought
presence.
you owned a real turtle.
Farrah
A
has
lot
a-
of people think it's real.
Farrah's got a great apartment. It's really cool, and she has a
dope.
deck in her apartment, like a little deck on the outside.
Oh shit.
Yes, and I was going for a pimp my deck situation this summer. So
You got a turtle.
right. I set up a hammock, I got turf, and then this is what happened. I took a Xanax and I woke up the next morning with a
You woke up-
Amazon confirmation
You woke up married to a turtle.
that I had ordered a turtle. I have no memory
you
of
sedated
ordering
yourself
it.
with donuts and woke
I
up
have
with the turtle.
no memory of ordering this turtle
Yeah.
or what the thought process was behind it, but she's here and she's
Well,
staying.
is it a turtle or is it a tortoise?
Oh, this is the thing
'Cause
you
that's
bought
a big
online
argument.
when you were like loaded. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I know what post you're talking about. I forgot about it for a second.
That's a big argument for the turtle films, though, is whether or not they should even be called turtles.
Right.
Is it really?
Yeah, because technically, I think they're terrapins. So turtles are strictly water-based animals. Terrapins do both, and then tortoises are land animals.
Who the fuck
Well,
has this amount of time?
This is important.
It goes back to your point about
Continuity.
how like fucking exhausting like this whole
Yeah.
thing is, where
Is
it's like
everybody
it's
the-
not accurate.
Everybody's the comic book dude from
Yeah.
The Simpsons.
It's
Everybody's
like-
like, in episode 1-2. That's crazy.
It's fucking exhausting.
Because they're on land all the time? That's what they're saying?
Yeah, that's a tortoise. Yeah.
It says box turtle.
Oh, it might be. Okay.
Isn't that one of the points of having them in the sewer? Is because it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're
you're,
like
you're
both-
close to the
yeah.
water if you have to be.
I think they're like terrapins, probably.
Wait, so terrapin is its own animal?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
how dumb I am.
Well, no, who the fuck knew that?
Yeah. So they look like turtles, but they stay on land?
Yeah, they do both. They like can be in the water and they can be on land.
Oh, they're
Ambidextrous.
ambidextrous, but for land
for
and
land
water.
and water. You got it.
There is a lot of adult jokes. There's another joke where he goes, "I didn't know." They make an insurance joke. Like he goes, "I didn't know so and so Michelangelo did insurance," and he's like, "Yeah, Turtles of Omaha." Like I'm like, what kid is gonna get a Mutual of Omaha joke?
That was probably a really hot commercial at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like that was a bit that they wrote in the room, and they were like, "Oh, this is gonna kill." This is
What was
gonna
your
kill.
favorite part, Langston? Like
Honestly-
as a kid and now when you saw it, like
Fuck, that's a good question. So honestly, I think what meant the most to me as a kid was the dance scene with Vanilla Ice. And then in retrospect, it was the part I'm most ashamed to have enjoyed. But the part that Sean was making
wait, so
fun
is
of.
it just like Vanilla Ice? Like it's him as playing himself?
No, this is what happens. Vanilla Ice is having an underground concert, as he does.
Right.
And
and it's Vanilla
as he
Ice
does.
as Vanilla Ice.
it's
Yes.
Vanilla Ice as Vanilla
And
Ice.
he's in his waiter outfit.
It's Vanilla Ice with all of his black friends. They all are
Yeah,
very
that's
excited
right.
to be there.
His legitimizing black friends that he has.
He has all
And
the
So we have
traditional Vanilla
diversity in
Ice
this
shit.
movie.
And he looks like a waiter at a catering hall. That's what
Yeah,
Vanilla Ice
for
looks like.
sure.
in this. Yeah.
And then
I feel like I've seen a clip of this.
Toka and Razor and they're all fighting against each other in like this weird warehouse. They burst through a wall and then they're in the Vanilla Ice concert. So this is the big reveal of the Turtles too, because they like for up to this point don't exist in the city. They're very good ninjas. They don't show themselves. And so they burst through this wall and suddenly they like step up and everybody's like, holy shit, it's Turtles. And then they just start rapping about it.
The turtles rap?
No,
No,
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice is like,
just has
oh,
a song.
fuck, they're turtles, and then he just starts freestyling
He's
about
thinking-
turtles, and technically there's a beat that he's already like made.
He's thinking, he's like, oh my god, I can finally use my turtle song.
My karate turtle song
karate
that I've been writing all these years.
This is
Oh my
Kismet.
God.
And then they literally start kicking ass while the turtle song is playing. So it's like go ninja, go, and then
I
they're
feel like
like
I've
being
seen a
ninjas
clip
and
of
fucking
this.
people up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why people like you can see like hipsters loving it for being so bad, like that kind. That's, I
Yeah.
think that's why it became famous. The movie is only well known now because of that scene.
It's
and
campy.
and it's the very last scene of the movie. Like not the very last scene, but it's the
Sounds awesome.
it's fun if you're like it's fun for back then,
Yeah.
and now you're watching it like all right, whatever.
But so that part I saw later and felt terribly ashamed to have to have genuinely loved as much as I do. But then there are other parts where like we were talking about like Toka and Razor's transformation in the beginning, and I remember them coming out of like that machine, and they come out and they're terrifying. They're like these big giant scary monsters, and then they like tilt their heads and say like baby words, and it's
Yeah, they
the
say
cute-
mama.
Yeah, it's so fun. They keep calling Shredder mama, and he's like, "What's wrong with them?" And he's like, "I don't know, babies. I don't know what's wrong." And it's
And he's gonna
it's
have
so
them,
funny.
That's the other weird part. Shredder's gonna have them killed. He goes, destroy these two. And the scientist is like, you can't do that.
They're babies.
They're babies. He's like, they're living creatures.
Wait, are these the mentally challenged?
Yeah.
Yes, Toga and Razor. And he's
I
like,
like these serious themes.
They're really funny.
yeah. Well, it's kind of hardcore when it's like, just kill them. I'm like, even if you're a kid watching it, like, really gonna kill these things? Really?
Put that dog down. I
Hey,
don't
kids,
like it.
Does this look like your pet? I'm gonna kill it.
It's great. I laughed genuinely at that as an adult, and that might be my favorite part. Is them just being
Really?
because I forgot how silly they turned everything. Like I remembered the critique as an adult and was like, oh, well, had to be some serious parts, and there literally are no serious parts.
There's really none. There really is. It
That
doesn't-
sounds fun.
That's You can. It
It's
doesn't
super
take
fun.
itself too serious. but
Maybe
it's so bad.
maybe you could argue the last scene. So in the final moments of the film, Shredder ends up consuming the jizz. And turns into a giant version of himself. He like grows spikes out of himself and shit.
I'll give you this. That's the most badass part of the movie.
Right. So
He
that
actually
might be the
looks-
serious. Like
that's pretty serious.
turn, yeah.
And also the way that he looks
Yeah.
is pretty. It's like for back then and for what that movie is. Actually, it would hold up in a movie like from like 10 years past.
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's
I think
pretty
so.
cool.
And
Like,
it was like a turn where it was like, oh, they're not going to be able to beat him because they couldn't beat him when he was regular Shredder.
But they're not. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, but I'll tell you this, because what happens is the way he gets like that is he gets blown into another section of the warehouse, wherever they are, the underground, whatever it is, for the part where the party is. But the way they get him the first time is they turn the music up real loud.
That's right.
And this is why it kills him. However badass he is, the way he got to that point is they turn the music up real loud and they uncover a speaker, and Shredder, who can beat everybody, just gets blown into the other room.
Well,
Like, just blown in.
doesn't Mikey hit a guitar or something
Yeah,
like
they
that?
they strum on a guitar, and boom, he gets blown. So you're like, oh, I
Baffled.
thought maybe that was the end, because I didn't remember the end. And then they all go into the other room, and a Shredder pops up, and he's like radioactive Shredder,
Yeah.
and they have to beat him there.
And then they drown him.
They drown him, and then that's where the turtles. See, they're not
What?
terrapins.
Everything you
See,
guys
they're
are
not
saying, I'm
terrapins.
like, no.
That's how he dies. Is that they're fighting him on these docks, and then he just they beat him up a little bit, and then he falls through the docks, and then just drowns.
And they're turtles, so they're fine.
They're terrapins. They all float to because they can breathe underwater, and they just are like, oh, thank God, and he just dies.
Well, the thing we were talking about before that I do like and I'm interested to see is like I'm not into things where you're like, oh, back in the day, but
Yeah.
like the difference between CGI stuff and then like the fact that they were making this movie and had to figure out how to show that.
It's
Right.
so
Without
much more
all
effort.
the
It is a lot more
computer,
effort.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's way more
cool.
effort, but it's kind of cooler. Like it's why
It is.
Jurassic Park still holds up.
Exactly.
It's just like you guys use
very
a giant
artistic, like
robot.
that they had to figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, we have to wrap up soon, but I wanted to ask you your 3 reasons
want to.
why you're
Oh.
defending this movie.
Absolutely. Number one, this is a very genuine thing. I went to the premiere of this film.
No! Whoa!
What?
This is the
not
first.
the Hollywood premiere, but the premiere in
The
like
premiere in your area.
my area, and the actors who played the Ninja Turtles were in the area, so they were there signing autographed like whatever, like posters.
Wow, this is
and
a Defend
shit.
Your Movie first.
Yeah, wow.
So I like literally, and I got a signed poster. It might be as big as this fucking pad thing,
like a 24 by 36.
Yeah, of like Donatello holding his staff and like go Ninja written on the bottom of it
Okay.
That's huge.
by an Asian man I didn't recognize, but who assured me he was Donatello. He was very adamant about him being Donatello. I didn't know that for sure.
He's like, I'm
That's
Donatello,
stuff
kid.
as a
Now come
kid,
into this
though.
van.
That's huge when you're a kid, though.
It meant the
Having
world
a
to me.
signed thing. It's like,
Langston's like, are you Donatello? Yeah.
Yeah,
Come with
kid.
me.
They could have just done that in every city.
$100.
Yeah, I'm fucking Donatello. Yeah, it's me, Mikey. What do you want? What do you want? What do you fucking need? $20, kid. And I was a fucking idiot. So I was like, yeah, this is beautiful. But it meant the world. There was like huge lines. We were all very excited.
That's exciting.
So that's
Okay.
that moment's never going to leave me.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean?
yep, that's great.
Number 2, genuine laughter. You can't find that. You can't find that in your.
So the jokes you're
yeah,
saying?
your regular action films. Vin Diesel doesn't make me laugh like Michelangelo does. It's just funny. It's a funny film, and it needs to be respected for what that is. Number 3, I liked that they took a route that was separate from the original platform, because if you kept it going dark, you just end up having to have like Leo and Raph being mad at each other all day.
Yeah.
And it's fucking boring.
It's too serious
It's
for it.
too serious and it's too boring, and you can't have one of the turtles die. So like, just be honest about what this is. We are going to create something that's going to keep going for the rest of whatever.
Okay. So that's your 3 reasons.
And then, okay, this
Want
might
more?
be sort of protective, but like they didn't ruin the entire films like the third one did.
like it didn't destroy the franchise.
No, there was a third one that did destroy the franchise, and then a fourth one that just really like hammered that destruction home.
I might have went straight to video. The fourth.
Yeah, so the
Like-
third one they turn into it's time traveling, and they go back to like old Japan.
Oh, that's right.
and become samurai.
I think by that point I
Wow.
was too old to even see that.
I'm just
one.
like,
Yeah.
it's a good defense when you're like, here's why it's good. It didn't ruin the franchise.
Yeah, but it's also an original reason for not.
I
at least
know, I
it wasn't
like
the
it.
culprit. And
then-
also, the second reason you gave is literally why people don't like it.
Right.
Like, so you're like, no, that's a good reason.
It was great.
Okay.
It was a brilliant turn, because they could have just made it sad or whatever and killed Splinter, and they were like, nah, let's just let everybody be happy and live and enjoy themselves.
Okay, I like
Yeah,
it.
it's great.
All right, Farrah. I'm sorry, we have to wrap up soon. Farrah, will you watch the movie?
Yes.
Whoa!
Actually,
Yes.
I very rarely say this,
Hell
but
yeah.
Langston's defense was quite convincing. I'm
Okay.
interested in seeing these costumes and how they move through the movie. I'm definitely
Like angels.
If Angel,
I'm
if Angel's wearing
definitely
cement shoes.
very interested in this vanilla ice scene.
Like Angel's
It's-
having a stroke. It's very clunky. Put it that way.
the learning disability factor is
Oh, that's
interesting
huge.
to
It's
me.
huge. They were taking down big
They were
learning.
taking big issues.
taking down big learnings
And
very early.
I'm it sounds like a genuinely joyful experience
It's great.
to watch.
So much fun.
How long is this film?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a
probably.
half. That's
See,
another
that
good.
gets me.
Yeah, there you go.
I
They
They knew
love
what
90
they knew what they
minutes.
had.
Well, you did it. You did it. Farrah's going to see the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this,
Thanks for
man.
having me, yo.
Is there anything
wanted
you
to
would
get
like
a
to plug, please?
No, every Tuesday at 8:30, the Fancy Show happens at Dizzy's in Brooklyn, and
It's
you
an
guys should come.
awesome show. Go
Yeah,
check it
it's a
out.
lot
It's in
of
So
Park
great.
Slope. It's such a fun show. And you do it with Michael Joyce.
Yeah,
And-
Michael Joyce, Lane Pichelle, and
yeah.
Simmons McDavid.
Awesome. Anything else? You have a Twitter or anything like that?
Yeah, all my online shit is at Langston Kerman, LANGSTONKERMAN.
Awesome. And Farrah, would you like to say anything? Would you like to plug the hairdresser? She's giving me the finger. Would you like to give a shout out to the colorist?
No, I wouldn't.
What would you like to say?
Next week is finally the Rent Party 1 year anniversary,
Woo!
hosted by me and Yadoya Travis. Sean's on it.
Yay.
It's going to be a great party at Union Hall in
Union
Brooklyn,
Hall.
9:30. So an adjusted time from what I may have said on some other episodes.
9:30, Union Hall in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Come out.
Awesome.
Tell me you're a fan of the pod.
Awesome. And yeah, as far as the pod goes, we have a Twitter. It's at Defend Your Movie. We also have the hashtag on Twitter, the hashtag Defend Your Movie. We have an email, defendyourmovie@gmail.com. We are on everything that you can listen to podcasts on. We're on. Check out the Laughable app. We love that app. It's really cool, and it gives you the option where you can search people, and it tells you what podcasts they've done. And yeah, check out Showbiz Studios as well, showbizstudios.com, their YouTube page, and also their new page on iTunes. Please let us know what you think of the podcast. Please
But be nice
subscribe,
or Sean
rate.
will cry.
So I'm very sensitive about that, about the critiques. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. And yeah, that's it. And we'll see you next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye-bye.